Hey everybody, welcome to How to Build. Today we're going to be going over Warpriest. If you are only here for artifact and mastery suggestions, I'm going to throw those up on the screen now. So feel free to pause and use those as you will. Quick note on the masteries, you'll notice that I've done the tier 6 on both the defense and the support tree. If you wanted to land her freeze a little bit more often, go with the tier 6 on the defense tree. If you want to help her turn cycle and get a little bit more utility out of her support skills, go with the support tree tier 6. Beyond that, if that was all you were here for, I appreciate you stopping by. If you feel like you got what you came for, maybe like the video and subscribe on the way out if you want to see what I upload in the future. A shout out to Obsidian Dwarf for letting me know that's all they were here for. I appreciate that feedback, and I think I'm going to just start picking random comments that I like and putting them up on videos, and I liked that comment. So shout out to Obsidian Dwarf for that comment, much appreciated. For anybody that wants to stick around, I'm going to be doing a little bit more of an analysis on Warpriest, talk about her stats, her skills, and just a little bit more detail about all the things that I think about putting on her and using her and all that fun stuff. So let's get into it. Now you get her pretty early on from a campaign reward, I believe. It's been a while since I was there, but I'm pretty sure you get her fairly early from the campaign. So everybody, she's kind of a popular early game champ. She's not a bad little champ at all. So her base HP is pretty good, really good actually for a rare support. Her base attack is kind of atrociously low, but that's okay. You're not really trying to gear her for attack anyway. But yeah, her attack's really low. Defense is also not bad, over 1100, and then speed is pretty average. Average tends to be around the high 90s, so pretty average there, but you know, nice enough stats that you're going to be able to scale her up and do some stuff with her. So let's talk about her skills real quick. First skill, attacks one enemy, has a 15% chance of placing a freeze debuff for one turn. So this is pretty cool. 15% is kind of a low chance. If you skilled her up, it turns into 25. So that's a 1 in 4 chance. That's not bad. And having a little bit of crowd control on the first skill is not a bad thing. You know, you're not really going to be able to count on it, so to speak, but when she lands it, it's going to be very helpful, and it's going to be helpful anywhere. I mean, anybody that can be frozen, that gets frozen, that's one less turn that you have to deal with from the enemy team. So it is very helpful. Nice little skill for her to have, especially since she's not really going to be contributing any damage to the fight. So this way, she's when she's not using her support skills, she's at least potentially crowd controlling someone. So beyond that, her second skill heals a target ally by 20% of their max HP, heals all allies except the target by 10% of the target's max HP. So kind of a weirdly worded one, maybe if you're newer and you're not familiar with all this stuff, but basically whoever you target with this skill, they're going to get healed by 20% of whatever their HP would be when it's full, right? So not this number. This is their base HP. Max HP is their HP from other factors, artifacts and things like that. So 20% of whatever that maximum HP would be, and then it's going to be an AoE heal of 10% of that target's max HP. So pretty cool little skill, but it can kind of depend on who you target. You know, if you've got kind of a glass cannon, someone who's doing a lot of damage but doesn't have a lot of HP, the heal's not going to be very substantial. Whereas if she targets herself with it, then everybody's going to get a little bit more HP. So it'll just kind of depend on how the battle's going and who needs the heal. But it's still a nice little skill. And skilled up, it turns into a 40% heal. So, well, 40% and 30%. So it gets a little bit more substantial as you skill her up. And then the cooldown can get reduced. So not a bad heal. AoE heal early in the game, nice to have. And then her last skill, 25% increase attack buff on all allies for 2 turns. You can get this down to a 3-turn cooldown. And attack buffs are always nice. Unfortunately, it's not the better attack buff, but it's an attack buff nevertheless. So, and again, she's, you know, you're going to get her in the early game, so every little bump you get is going to help. So, nice little support champ, and has pretty widespread utility. So, as far as the places you can use her. Of course, campaign, she's going to be a great little support to help you get through the campaign. She's going to be nice in dungeons. She's Ice Golem and Dragon in particular. She's going to be pretty good support there. She's going to be decent enough support in Fire Knight and Spider, but eventually you are going to outgrow her in those 2 dungeons. I mean, you're eventually going to outgrow her everywhere. She's not a champion that you're going to take into the late game. But she's going to last a little bit longer in Ice Golem and Dragons than she does in Spider and Fire Knight. You're going to be looking to get her out of there fairly quickly in those two. But Ice Golem and Dragon, she's going to be able to hang around for a while. Faction Wars, she's going to be a solid option for the Sacred Order faction. Earlier game Arena, she's going to be real nice. She's got the freeze, she's got the heals, she's got the attack buffs. So pretty nice for early game Arena, and maybe early mid game Arena as well. But again, there are going to be better options that you're going to get as you push through. And then in Clan Boss, she's decent support for a little while in Clan Boss. She's attack buffing your team. She's got the heals. So she's not doing a lot of things for Clan Boss. Really, you want champions that have defense breaks, attack breaks, poisons, weaken is nice, or substantial support for the team, right? So she's not bringing a ton to the fight, but earlier in the game when you're kind of strapped for champs, she's going to be nice little Clan Boss support. So pretty cool, pretty widespread utility. Easy enough to use in all the potion keeps, so not a big deal there. And as far as the types of gear you can put on her, there's a few different fun things you could try with her. Of course, earlier in the game, you're looking at your life sets, you're looking at your speed sets, because what you want out of her is you want her to be tanky, you want her to be able to take hits and stay alive and stay in the fight, and you want her to be fast, because the faster she is, the more turns she gets, the quicker she gets back around to this heal and the attack buff, right? This is nice, but again, you're not counting on this. This is going to be nice when she lands it while these other two are on cooldown, but really what you're trying to do is get her back around to her heal and her attack buff as quick as possible. So the faster and the tankier, the better. If you want to focus a little bit of accuracy in your substats and try to help her land this freeze, you can, but again, it's kind of a low percentage to land. I wouldn't focus accuracy at the cost of speed or HP, because it's not really going to be worth it. So speed and HP are really going to be the things you want to focus on with her. And then in the background, defense, resistance, and accuracy are going to be nice things to focus on for her. But again, none of those are worth hard focusing. Speed and life are really the sets that you want to focus on. Now, if you have good defense set or good resistance set or things like that that are going to really target the important stats, go ahead and use them. If you've got good HP percentage defense set armor, throw it on her. If you could make the sets that way and get those bonuses, but HP and speed are the big things you want to focus on for her. Beyond that, some of the fun things you can do with her with some of the 4 sets, I think Retaliation would be kind of a fun one to do. You would probably want to focus accuracy a little bit more if you wanted to do that, go that route, but I think Retaliation could be a fun one on her if you can still get the stats that you need, because she counterattacks, just more opportunities to land the freeze, right? The more opportunities you get, the better the chance of landing, even with the lower percent. So I think Retaliation could be a fun one for her. Reflex would be a nice one. Reflex is kind of potentially reducing cooldowns, so helping her get back around to her support skills a little bit faster. Shield is going to be a nice set for her. She is support. She's designed to be tanky, and if she can spread a shield on her team based on her high HP that she's going to have, that'll be really helpful. You could try a taunting set. Again, she's support. She's designed to be tanky. If you can put a taunting set on her, and now you've got potential to freeze or taunt, so either way, you're kind of locking up the enemy if you land any of it, and keeping your damage dealers safe. I would probably focus resistance a little bit more if I was going to go a taunting set on her, because what you don't want to happen is for her to get hit and crowd controlled, stunned, slept, frozen, whatever method of crowd control the enemy may have. But taunting could still be fun to kind of keep the heat off the rest of your team. Just focus resistance a little bit more. And then another fun one might be Frost. Every time someone hits her, they have potential to get frozen. So now she's freezing on both sides of the fight. She's got potential to freeze when she hits someone and potential to freeze when someone hits her. Could get kind of aggravating in longer fights. But again, a lot of these are just kind of fun ones you could play around with. As long as you're hitting her stats, you've got some options. And then, of course, your Immortal set, your Divine Life and Divine Speed. Those are all fairly self-explanatory. And I mean, that's about it. Of course, there's a lot of different ways to use her and a lot of different ways to build her, I should say. So play around with her and find some stuff you like. These are just some ideas that I have that I think might be fun as you start to get your hands on this gear. But not a really hard champ to build. I mean, really all you need to focus is HP and speed, as we said. And then in the background, defense, resistance, and accuracy are nice little bumps to have. But all around, not a bad little champ. She's fun. She's going to do a lot for you earlier in the game. She's going to carry into mid-game quite a bit. And certain areas she's going to be able to stick around a little longer than others, but you will eventually outgrow her. She's not going to be an in-game champ, but that doesn't mean she's not worth some attention, worth some love. You could certainly 5-star her and feel good about it, and then later on, if you're not going to use her in Faction Wars. Now with the addition of Faction Wars, if you could think about 6-starring her. But if you wanted to leave her at 5-star for a little bit, worst case scenario, you use her as food way later to 6-star someone. You don't ever have to worry about 5-starring someone, because worst case scenario, if they end up not being worth 6-starring, they can be 6-star food. But with Faction Wars now, there's a lot more champs that are useful that weren't necessarily useful later in the game. So something to think about. But that's going to wrap it up for Warpriest. I hope it was helpful. I hope you guys got something out of it. I appreciate you watching. And yeah, that's it. Like the video. If you want to see what I put out in the future, subscribe, all that fun stuff. I do try to upload every day and a few times a week. Those are raid videos of different varieties. So, if you're interested in any of that, subscribe. Beyond that, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.